welcome everyone. It is nice to have you all here. I am, as I said, pretty excited to have Katie here with me today from Valorum Care Group. I've been working with her for a few months now, and she's going to introduce us to her app, show us all the good stuff that she has prepared there, and that causes all the engagement in the app, obviously. And so, let me hand over the mic to Katie, and please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you for joining our breakout session today. I'm the Valorum Care Group Strategic Development Director, and as Josephine said, we've been working together for a few months now, creating and launching our internal app with Staffbase, which we have called My Valorum. We launched this on the 20th of April, so we were a few weeks into the full lockdown in the UK. So the timing was pretty perfect, actually, in terms of the need and requirements for us to engage with our workforce. So I'm looking forward to explaining to you a bit about the reasons why we needed the app, how we did it, the initiatives that we've been rolling off the back of it, and then sort of what our future plans are, because we're not even 6 months into having the app, and it's grown arms and legs. So there's still quite a lot of work for us to do. Josephine, do we need to now make the slides bigger?
Everyone can double click on the slides themselves in their view, and that would make it bigger for them so that they can see properly.
Okay, cool, perfect. Is there a way that I can do that also, so that I can also see?
Of course, you should be able to.
Perfect. Yeah, I've done it. Brilliant. This is with me today. She's the techie guru. Cool. So just some of the things like I've touched on that we want to run through today is really what are the reasons for us wanting to launch an employee engagement app, the reasons behind that, what our objectives and targets were, how could we meet those targets and objectives through an app, having a remote workforce, making sure that we've got successful initiatives on there, employee engagement, well-being initiatives, and coming up with best practice for the future. So that's really what we want to be running through today.
Exactly. So I think we're ready for our first question today. Obviously, big question, always interesting. Why did you feel that you needed an app, and how did you find Staffbase?
Sure. So we needed a platform and a vehicle really to help engage our workforce. So our company works national across England, and we have services, and when I say services, I mean residential homes, nursing homes, supported living services that are dotted about all the way from the top of the country all the way down and everywhere in between. We have some very remote workforces and some very remote employees. So you might have some staff out there that are a lone worker. They might work night shifts on their own, and they might not really come into contact with many other people. So we needed to make sure that we had a platform to engage with every single member of staff, regardless of whether they worked in a team of 60 or whether they worked on a team of 1 or 2, depending on the type of service that they worked in, making them feel engaged with the company, and to really provide them with some wellbeing initiatives as well. Our company so Valorum Care Group itself, we are a parent company of lots of different care providers and brands that we have that work across the country, and we've grown organically and through acquisition. So it's more important than ever to make sure that everyone feels a part of the same family and part of that Valorum Care Group family. We've got 6 brands that we have across the country, but they're still part of Valorum Care Group. So it's important that they do feel like they're part of that bigger family. Because we work in care and the social care sector, a lot of our workforce today, and the first talk was about the non-desktop workers. Well, about 90% of our workforce don't have and don't require a desk, a laptop. They don't even need a work account email because of the type of work that they're doing. They're working with the vulnerable clients out in the field. So it's really important for us to find a platform of being able to communicate and engage with them, and that they can reach effectively 24/7. A lot of our workers, again, I've sort of touched on, we've got different brands, we've got different job roles out there, ranging from support workers to nurses, we've got PBS specialists, we've got our head office function. Sometimes people can often feel like they're working in silos. So again, the reason why we wanted this engagement tool is to bring everyone together and to also let everyone know who else is out there in the business. We really wanted to improve our retention rates as well. So everyone on here probably, is aware that you have engaged workforce, you're going to have better retention rates. Now, luckily, we're quite fortunate that actually as a company, we're sort of beating the industry average in terms of our retention. But one area of focus for us is about reducing the amount of employees that are leaving within the first 6 months of employment. So having an engagement app is making the staff feel more engaged with the workforce, making sure that they have a better onboarding, and also even to do with the recruitment process, so making sure that they're actually joining a job that they want to be in, because we work with some very, very complex clients. It can be very daunting working with some of the client groups that we do, and even if someone hasn't worked in care before, it's really important that they're aware of sort of the environment that they're potentially going to be working in. So our employee engagement app, obviously, as you know, can be accessed on the public page, so people can download this prior to actually becoming an employee with us, so they get to see a bit about our company. So rolling this out is meant to support us with our retention rates in the first 6 months of employment as well. Like I've mentioned, touching on the onboarding process, we're actually talking to Staffbase now about the use of journeys. That's a feature that we want to looking at purchasing and investing in, because that's really going to support with, again, the retention rate of employees when they first start the business. So on day one, they get a welcome video from the CEO. 3 days later, they might get, oh, please let us know how you're doing, using the employee happiness rating tool. And then we can plan and have automated notifications going out to our new starters really up until their first 12 months of working with us. So we really see that as a positive feature that we want to roll out. And the last point really is about a competitive edge that we have against our competitors in the market. So the social care sector isn't glamorous. We're here for the people that we support. We're not here because we want to make lots and lots and lots of money. That's not why any of us are in the care sector. So we are fortunate enough that we have been able to invest in such a wonderful tool to bring our staff together. So we know that we are providing something that some of our competitors aren't able to do. So those are the reasons why we needed an app.
Lots of reasons, lots of good reasons. Thank you. Let's move on to the next questions. What were the objectives of the project? So yeah, there we go.
Cool. So, obviously, I've probably already touched a bit on this because the objectives, I suppose, are the issues that we've got and the reasons why we want an app. That's where our objectives come from. So like I've said, it's about bringing everyone together, making everyone feel like they're part of that bigger family, being able to see videos from the CEO, being able to use a chat function and speaking to someone in HR or someone in marketing or whatever that may be. It's bringing everyone together and allowing them to have a voice. Communicating change was a massive thing for us, and actually which was so important, and I'm so glad that we managed to get the app rolled out just a few weeks into the full lockdown in the UK. Was obviously with COVID and the pandemic, we need to get really important, critical business updates about guidelines, policies, procedures, where to access PPE if there are shortages, things like that. We needed to communicate that to all of our staff as quick as possible. Sometimes, sending an email to the manager and expecting them to pick it up and being able to relay that to a team, they might not see the email for 6 hours, for example, because they're working on the floor. So having an app has allowed us to send out instant communications, which has been absolutely vital in light of the pandemic, especially because of the industry that we work in, working with vulnerable clients, and in the care sector, we've had changes happening on a daily basis. So it's been really crucial for us to have this means of communicating. Another part, so touching on sort of like retention and wellbeing initiatives, we want to provide a culture of recognition and reward. So we've actually we've got My Valorum, so through Staffbase, our employee engagement app is our primary platform. We've now partnered with Reward Gateway, and we've created a part on our app called Appreciation Station, which was named by our staff, by the way. I didn't come up with the name. This is an area where staff can recognise each other. We've got sort of an appreciation wall where people, staff, managers to peers, managers down to their workforce, peer-to-peer recognition of each other, and also a system and a feature for us to be able to reward financially and non-financially. The Reward Gateway platform as well obviously offers lots of discounts and benefits to our staff. So using this app, it's obviously a great way of us communicating about all of these benefits as well. We tend to have we have at least one app notification going out a day for staff, and at the most we probably have 3, depending on what's happening in the business at the time. So we are constantly reminding our staff about the wellbeing initiatives we've got, what benefits we have, just to remind them, and if there's anyone new that's joined, that they're made aware of that. Employee enablement. So what this means is, really, we wanted this app available for all of our staff to access 24/7, and we want it to be their main portal for everything that they might need at work. So they access their pay slips from there. They have an ability to raise concerns. They have a chat function, somewhere for them to have a voice, somewhere to download policies, procedures, to find out all their wellbeing offerings that they've got. Like I've said, it's the access through to the Reward Gateway Appreciation Station portal. We don't want our staff to have to log into 6 different platforms to get their payslip, to book holiday, to do all of these things. We want them to do it in one place. So we've been able to do that with My Valorum, and Staffbase have been very helpful when we're integrating with other platforms and features about using single sign-on and things like that, because we really want to make this as slick and easy as possible tool for our staff to use, because our workforce, we've got a real range mix of people in our workforce from all different ages, backgrounds, and also abilities in using tech, and some of our staff struggle to use smartphones. So yeah, it's really important that we just have one platform for them for all the things that they need. I've already touched on this again. Obviously, it's the employee attraction and retention, supporting with the onboarding, making them feel engaged, and then the peer-to-peer channels. So at the moment, on the day of launch, there was a chat function where anyone can message anyone on the chat. It's a bit like WhatsApp, but not as fancy. You haven't got all the gifts, etc., but you've got a chat function, so I could speak to anyone in the business if I wanted to, and we've got a directory, so if someone's new and they're not sure who works in marketing or HR or finance, they can find them really easily. So the peer-to-peer channels is something we want to expand on, so it's not just a chat function. As we develop, because we've not even had the app for 6 months, we want to start creating different channels, maybe for specific regions of the business, for specific brands, for where employees have specific interests. But this probably isn't very surprising, but our most popular posts and interaction that we get is when we talk about people's pets. Honestly, if we put something about, please show us a picture of your pet this weekend, we get the most interaction. So at some point, we're probably going to have a whole channel to do with people's pets, because that seems to really engage people. So as I say, we're only 6 months into it, so it's something that we really want to look into. There we go, that's our objectives.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It's the smallest, easiest questions that get most of the engagement. Lots of objectives here, and I definitely know that you've implemented and a lot of these already in your app, and we'll take a look later at that so that everyone else can see that as well. All right, next question. What does the app look like? Well, we're already at that stage now to take a look at the app. We'll hear some details, and then we actually take a little look at it live here in the session.
Cool. So I'll just sort of quickly run through with you the main areas that we've got on our app. And then, like we've said, I managed to rope an employee to create a video for me to run you through what exactly the app looks like. Just to quickly run through. So what's happening? This is our carousel that we have on the homepage, but also it's got its own separate channel for our good news stories, business updates. Our CEO, Robin, he does a weekly vlog. Now, originally, when we first launched the app prior to COVID and when we were planning this, we thought we'd have maybe monthly Q&As with the SMT team or just people in the business. But actually, in light of the pandemic and COVID and the impact it's having on our business, we decided that actually it'll be great for the CEO to do a weekly vlog. So Robin does that, and we upload that every Friday. So that gives really important updates about changing policies, procedures, but also he gives an update in terms of if we've had any staff or any clients that have been affected by COVID. Unfortunately, we have had staff member pass away. We have also had clients pass away. So this is a really good way for us to communicate that to our teams. I'd say probably one of the most popular, well, in fact, the most popular section of the app where we get the most engagement is our photo booth section. So we effectively created our own internal Instagram. It's really, really easy. And even the non-tech savvy members of staff are able to upload their photos and videos on there. This is the most engaging because people love to show the good stuff, work that's going on in our services with the clients, and we get so much engagement off that. We also get lots of sharing of ideas. So I know some of our mental health services, they've been sharing about their wellness walks and their mental health wellbeing initiatives for clients in lockdown. So we've actually had some really good work that's come off the back of our own internal Instagram. Wellbeing is obviously a really, really important part for us. So we have a whole section on the different offerings that we have. So we have launched, again, another feature, and I suppose another investment was Together All. These are the only CQC regulated digital mental health service. So again, absolutely good timing with the pandemic and everything happening. We know this has had a massive effect on everyone's mental health in one way or another. We've invested in this service for our staff, and they can access that really easily through the app. We've got our employee assistance program, and what the tool that I really like on that Staffbase have created is the employee happiness function. It literally is 3 faces: happy, neutral, or unhappy. Staff can press whatever button at any given time in the day, as many times as they want, and leave a comment or not leave a comment, and that feeds through to the back panel, so we can get a sense and a feel for what are our staff workforce feeling like this week. Are they happy? Are they not happy? What are the reasons why? And it's been really crucial throughout lockdown to find pockets or areas or regions where, you know, maybe people aren't happy, and then we've been able to dive into that and resolve some of the issues. Just quickly whizzing through the next bits: HR and recruitment, policies, whistleblowing line, current vacancy list. Like I said before, this is the one-stop shop for our staff to access these sorts of things. The social section, again, has been really important throughout COVID, especially when we're in the first stages of lockdown, when no one could leave other than our frontline workers. We had live quizzes, we had live bingos, we had lots of opinion polls, trying to boost morale and keep people engaged as much as possible. I've touched on some of these quick links, so the chat function, but we've also got the staff directory and a refer a friend button, which is, again, is really important for us in terms of plugging the recruitment and the refer a friend schemes. And then just a little bit there, the foundation, so the Valorum Foundation is our charity. So if anyone wants to find out more information about that, that is also on our app. So Josephine is now going to play a video for you, which is a few minutes long, but it just walks you through what our app actually looks like. So Josephine, you've said that this is one of your favorite because it's so bright and colourful. So I hope everyone else enjoys it as much as you do.
Yes. Yeah, fingers crossed now that the video plays nice. If there's any issues, let us know in the comments, please. Let's see.
I'll be showing you around the app's layout.
Let's restart so everyone.
Today I'll be showing you around the app's layout and features. At the top here, we have our newsfeed carousel, which is updated every day. We include business updates, vlogs by our CEO and SMT, good news stories, and details about staff and client initiatives. We also showcase services, advertise wellbeing courses, and feature deals and discounts available to staff through our employee reward gateway. We also include interactive posts, such as votes on certain business decisions, quizzes, polls, and call-outs for staff to share pictures on what they've been up to. As we move down, we come to Appreciation Station, which is our employee reward gateway. Here, staff are linked to hundreds of discounts on offers from everything from the high street to their weekly shop. Appreciation Station also hosts one of our peer-to-peer recognition schemes. Colleagues can use this to send e-cards to thank or congratulate each other publicly. Going one panel below is our current competition, which is an art competition, and this is open to staff and clients across the business. App users have been uploading their submissions, and we've used the inbuilt app functions to set up a voting system whereby staff can scroll through and like their top 3 submissions in each category. Next on the homepage, we have our employee happiness and a link to our refer a friend scheme. Employee happiness allows staff to report how they're feeling, and they can leave a comment if they wish. Next up is Photo Booth, which is arguably our most popular feature and acts as an internal Instagram. Staff from across the business can upload pictures and share what their service has been up to, and other colleagues can like and leave comments. We also wanted to develop a social area to connect staff. We found features in this area were particularly popular during the lockdown months, particularly the crossword and the bingo. This area also links to our social media channels and includes a staff directory. App users can use this to communicate with each other. Below, we encourage staff to include TV, music and book recommendations. One of the outputs from this was that we made a Spotify playlist that was made up of summer music suggestions from staff. Back to the homepage, and we also wanted to include some quick links for important information, including an online calendar, anything for coronavirus updates, job vacancies and payslips. And then here at the bottom, we've got our wellbeing section, which houses all of our wellbeing initiatives in one place. Included here are our external partners Together All, which is a 24/7 digital mental health support service, which is available online. It's completely anonymous and free for all our staff to use. And they can link straight to it through the app. Also in this section, we have links to the Care Workers charity and our own employee assistance program, which offers free and impartial advice around a variety of issues, and also a phone line, which is open 24 hours a day. That's it for the home page, but you can also access additional features using the menu tab on the top left-hand corner. Included in this list, we have our HR and recruitment section. Colleagues can use this to make a complaint, download our policies, view vacancies, make use of the Refer a Friend scheme or EAP, and also see the senior management structure. Back to the menu bar. And we've also included a link to the Valorum Foundation website, a help button, which puts a colleague directly in contact with someone who can help if they're having issues with anything on the app. And also the messenger function is repeated here too, so colleagues find it easy to communicate with each other. And there we have it. I hope this demonstration has been helpful and has given you a feel for the My Valorum app. Thank you for listening.
There we go. That was thanks to my colleague Georgia for doing that whilst I was on holiday. I wrote them into that one.
Just a second, just gonna get back to the slides here. Perfect. Next question. I mean, it was a really good look at the app. I hope you guys saw all the different important things that we mentioned before, and how, yeah, Valorum can sort of get to all those objectives that they had in the beginning with all the different areas in the app. All right, so next question, how did you roll out the app? And yeah, we already saw a little question to that also in the questions. Maybe you can mention it right away. Just how did you advertise it so that everyone knew that there was a new app?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, obviously this was launched on the 20th of April, so we were in full lockdown. So other than our key line workers, everyone else was working from home. So I absolutely would have loved to have been able to get me and my team to go out and deliver live workshops and training sessions, but obviously we weren't able to do that. So everything was done remotely. We recognised that we needed to get out all of our frontline managers on board. So that would have been your registered managers, your service managers of every single nursing residential home. If they're not on board, their team aren't going to be on board. So we devised some webinar sessions where we trained them on how to use the app, how to train. So it was a train the trainer session. We also identified super users across the company. These were predominantly from our business system teams who are already quite tech savvy and would really be easily pick up on how to navigate through the app. And then what was really important is that as well as a manager for every service, we asked for some app champions to nominate themselves. So these were people that were interested in, you know, if they already had an interest in sort of social media or internal comms or marketing, they would be ideal candidates for supporting us with the rollout. Each super user and app champion were given a designated team. There's a list of staff. These are the staff that you need to go and train and work with. Obviously with the app champions, luckily they were the frontline workers, so they could give them sort of a live demonstration, and they would be issuing out their login details as well. And what was really good is they had the option of having their username and a one-time password, or there was a QR code. So there was two really easy ways of people being able to log into the system. Some of the other bits that we did to roll this out was actually emailing every single member of staff to their personal email address. So as I touched on before, 90% of our workforce do not have a work email address. So it's not something that we like to do. And in fact, we very, very rarely email everyone on their personal email address. We sent one email to everyone's personal with a guide document explaining to them everything about My Valorum, so that it made it look really easy to use, user-friendly. Even if you were scared of using an app or you've never used an app before, we talked about the opportunity to actually log in through the web browser, so you don't have to have a smartphone, which I think someone mentioned before. As long as you've got access to the internet, you're able to access this, explaining them how to get logged on and everything that they can find on the app. There was sort of a bit of a sales pitch to everyone, you know, this is why you should join in on the app. And we actually got a huge boost of employees joining in, and we got lots and lots of questions and queries coming back to the centre. How can I get signed up? So that was a real good boost for us as well. We also ran a competition, as simple as if you're signed up by this specific date, you'll be entered into a draw. And then we had some prizes, and we got some Amazon vouchers sent out at the time. So I think at the time, the only thing anyone could buy was something from Amazon, because we were in full lockdown. So we sent out quite a few of those Amazon vouchers, and that helped as well. For the first few, I'd say 2 to 3 months of us rolling and implementing this app, we sent weekly all of the outstanding and new users for the app for every single service. So every single manager knew exactly who was outstanding. If they had any new members of staff, they had their logins. We don't do that as frequently now because it can be quite time consuming, but we have got about 65% of our workforce now actually already signed up onto the app, and that's less than 6 months in. So we've done a really good job at getting that rolled out so far. Blowing my own trumpet there. Also, within a month or so of launching the app, we actually decided we wanted to recruit an engagement officer. So at the very beginning, it was myself, a group strategic development director, and a marketing executive that rolled the app out, because that's kind of the only people that we had at the time to do it. And because this was growing arms and legs, and there was so much more that we wanted to do on the app, we recruited an engagement officer who supports heavily with boosting the sign-up rates. And also what was vitally important is that we had SMT backing. So it actually was our CEO that really promoted the use of this app to begin with. He said, Katie, this is what we need. We need a way of communicating to all of our staff. So I went away with the marketing executive. Staffbase, we realised we're the best provider to enable us to do exactly what we needed. But we absolutely do have the SMT backing, and they are heavily involved in liking, sharing, commenting things on the app. Robin does his weekly vlog, so everyone knows that the SMT are involved in the app, and that massively helps. And also just on the app, we might have seen it on the demo there, but we also have a special email account for anyone to send. If they've got any queries about the app, they can come through direct to that. There's a help button on the app. Or a lot of people in the business know that I'm sort of overseeing it, so I get emails all the time asking for help for people to sign up, so I'm more than happy to help them with that.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the details. I think you already answered a lot of the questions in the chat, which is great. So if you have more questions, just write them in the chat and we'll move on to the next question. Tell us about some of the initiatives that have been a success with the app.
Absolutely, sure. So we've done some really fun things, especially through COVID and everyone being in lockdown. Right at the very start, for anyone in the UK, obviously you all know that there was lots of claps for the NHS. The rainbows were everywhere. Well, there wasn't such a focus on the social care sector, even though we were doing just as an important job, and we still had our key line workers. So we wanted to do something that boosted the morale and really showed everyone how appreciative we were of the work. So we actually created our own Valorum Key Worker badge, and we sent a thank you card to everyone's personal address, and I cannot tell you how well that went down. Staff felt so appreciated and valued. It was such a small thing from us to do, you know, a badge with our company logo on, and it had the rainbow, you know, it had the rainbow on it. But staff, honestly, they wear that badge with pride. You'll see it on our photo booth section. Staff are always wearing their badge. So that was a really nice thing that we did, and something that we want to do 6 months down the road, sort of going into second lockdown. We're now looking at doing something similar. We're actually going to create non-work masks. So obviously we have to provide the special PPE for staff when they're in the services, but for when they're out at the shops or in the pub, if they're lucky enough to get out there, then we want to create non-work masks with a Valorum logo on or something. So that's sort of the next project for us. Some of the most fun things during lockdown, I have to say, was actually the live bingo and quiz nights that we ran. It would be on a Wednesday evening. Any staff member could log in through the app, and we would have the SMT running these live bingo and quiz night sessions. So that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of engagement in that. People, grabbed a beer, grabbed a glass of wine, got involved. It was really, really fun, and actually staff looked forward to it in the middle of the week. We ended up stopping it as lockdown eased, because obviously people could start going out and doing more things. But as we're getting back into, more restrictions, especially as we're up and down the country and we've got certain geographical areas going into more lockdown, we can hear people crying out for the entertainment back. So Halloween week is going to be a spectacular, spooky week with lots of games, quizzes, bingos, all sorts. So yeah, that's something that we've been able to run through the app. I've touched on Together All. That was the mental health service that we had, digital mental health service we've got for staff. So the Green Fingers competition, this was an initiative that we ran. It was for staff and for clients. So the majority of our services that we have, the residential homes, the supported living services, they have gardens, and some of them are huge, acres and acres of land. We ran a gardening competition throughout summer. We called it Green Fingers, and we had a few categories: the most transformational garden, the best overall, the longest marrow, and the best plant pot or hanging basket for those that maybe didn't have a particularly big garden. This was so good for boosting morale across the staff and the clients, because yes, this is an employee engagement app, but we are here for our clients, our vulnerable clients, and actually lockdown has been really tough for them, not being able to see family members, no visitors, etc. So this was something really good, fun initiative that brought everyone together. And we announced the winners at the end of August, which was good fun. So straight into the art competition. We then, I think we saw that on the video that Georgia created for me. Again, staff and clients and collaboratively submitted artwork or photographs or sculptures, and we're actually creating a calendar that we're going to be raising money, selling and raising money for our charity, the Valorum Foundation, for the 2021 calendar. So again, that had a lot of uptake, and people really enjoyed doing that. Some of the other things I'll just quickly go through. So service showcase of the week. Every Thursday we upload on the app a new service. So the manager will give a description about the service, and then we'll get some residents, some clients and staff to talk about the service and how wonderful it is. People absolutely love this, because some people that work down in Cornwall have no idea about the services that we've got up in Redcar and Middlesbrough. They didn't even realise that we had a service down in Essex. So this is, to meet our objective about everyone feeling together and part of that family. Showcasing all of the services we've got is really helping bring everyone together. The last two things, just touching on sort of Kindness Matters Week, which came through from the Mental Health Awareness Week. We've done a lot of plugging on our employees' mental health. That's why we launched Together All, and we had run a few initiatives like that. And now we're starting to think about what we want to do for our physical well-being. So those are just some of the initiatives that we've run, and that was only 5.5 months. We've managed to do all that, and I think they have been a great success. But this is only the start, and I think there's been a lot of lessons learned as well. Lessons learned in terms of what people are actually interested in, how much people are engaged with different particular initiatives we run, and also how we facilitate them. So even as simple as how do we get staff to vote? I think when we got people to vote from the Green Fingers competition, it looked very different to the art competition. So we're learning all the time and working with Staffbase, who are really, really supportive to make the user experience as simple and sophisticated as possible. Cool, thank you. Next one.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, let's move on. What's the next question here? What has the feedback been so far, obviously, from your staff?
Yeah, so I'm hoping that everyone can read that and it's not too small, but I've put a selection of quotes. We just went out and asked some random people. So you've got a senior support worker, and a regional manager there. As you're reading those quotes, you'll see that everyone's pretty much saying the same thing. Like, it's so nice bringing everyone together. We've had loads of fun running, being involved with the initiatives. It's boosted not only the staff morale, but also the client morale as well. And they really enjoy learning about other parts of the business. So that generally is the theme of what people have enjoyed about the app so far. So we just can't wait we just really want to get 100% sign up on the app. That's the dream for me. So we just want to get everyone on there so that no one's missing out.
Perfect. Honestly, I can give you just positive feedback as well, working with you and just getting all the questions and, what other initiatives can we do? How can we implement this and that? There's always lots of ideas from your end. And I actually see a comment here that fits pretty well right now. You've made it look so easy. I'm sure it wasn't, but this looks like the purpose was clear. Your design meets the purpose, and this is straightforward and easy to use. Great job. So I think that sums it up really nicely. So it's not just that everything worked so well, but obviously you had a really good team of you, and there was a lot of good initiatives that you brought out there.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So next question. You've had some great success with the past initiatives. What about the future? What initiatives do you have planned in the next few months?
Sure. So like I touched on before, we've focused a lot on employees' mental health. Now we want to start looking at their physical well-being as well. So we want to launch, hopefully in November, we're going to be launching a whole week of physical well-being initiatives. Don't ask me for the full details of that yet. I know that we want to run it. I just don't know exactly what we're going to do, but I think it's going to include home workouts, discos in our services, skipping competitions, how many steps can you reach, that sort of thing. So we're going to make it really accessible for absolutely everyone. And again, we want to include our clients as well. So some of those can't walk and they're less able. So let's just have a disco, let's just get active and do some fun things like that. So just running through some of these, then we want to start looking at our long service awards. So quite often you'll find in care that people work in care for a really long time because they are really passionate about what they do and they love working with the clients. So we want to introduce long service awards. We actually, because we want to launch Employee of the Month awards in the new year, this is a really good time for us to sit back and think, actually, what are our company values? Because we want our Employee of the Month awards to tie in with our values, but actually, do we need to relook and review our values? We've been Valorum Care Group, we've been around for about 2.5 years. I don't think our values are fully embedded into the business yet. So actually, this is an opportunity for us to take a step back, and we're going to ask our employees what values do they want us to have. So there's going to be a process of getting their feedback and then short selecting them and then having our final values. So really looking forward to that. And then the last thing, although COVID is a pain in the bum and I don't want it to be here and no one does anymore, and it's going to make planning next year quite difficult because we have no idea if everything's going to be virtual or not, we really want to try and get an engagement calendar created for 2021 that we can send out to all of our services managers so they know what's coming. So those are just some of the things that we've got planned and that we want to roll out.
Thanks. Lots of information, lots of ideas here also for our other clients. I'm sure that they find some inspiration in this. So last question here. You've had some that was I think we're at the end, but I do have some more questions for you anyways, because we do have some in the chat. So let's get to those. I'm just going to pick and choose a couple that I like. One of the very good questions here is, before you even implemented the app, how did you gather the information for establishing why you needed an app, and how did you get and collect all the objectives that you had?
Sure. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the talk, we have grown organically, but also through acquisition. So whenever we've taken an acquisition, the SMT and the senior leadership team have gone out and sort of meted and greeted all of those staff. And it was really clear when talking to them that they weren't aware of who this bigger company was that they're now part of. So that was a real focus for us about joining all of these different brands and companies together so they feel like a family. To be honest, I don't think we actually had a lot of intellectual data to say, oh, these stats mean that we should do this, because we didn't, because we're still a relatively new company. But actually, I've worked with the CEO in a previous life, and we worked in a care company before, and we had a much simpler version of an employee engagement app. And we knew the benefits and the results that you could get from having it. So fast forward 2-3 years, we've sort of relaunched it, bigger, better. And that's why, really. Unfortunately, we didn't have any amazing data. It was sort of through experience and knowledge, and then just knowing that we've got all these acquisitions that we need to bring together. So that was it, really.
Yes, I guess we can collect some data here now with the app, obviously. So there's some improvement there as well. Perfect. Yeah. Next question would be, how often do you post content on the app, and do you post everything with or without notification? Because obviously sometimes, colleagues, employees, get put off by too many of the notifications.
Absolutely. So we post at least one post a day, and we have that at different times of the day, from 7 a.m. in the morning, depending on what it is, all the way through. We probably wouldn't post anything later than 9:30 at night. So it just depends what's going on at the time. You know, if there's lots of COVID updates, we might have COVID updates throughout the day. If it seems to be a particularly quieter week in terms of sort of any serious business updates, we'll tend to have more fun posts. And typically at the weekend, when we have fewer staff working, sometimes I like to call it our fluff posts. So it'll be a do you know fact, a really simple opinion poll. Can you post us a picture of your pet? And that's when we get loads of engagement. So we typically plan about 1 to 2 weeks in advance. And obviously things can change depending on what business updates need to go out. But then also we've got scheduled in the diary any sort of national days, national care, you know, it might be Care Worker Week, it might be National Hamburger Day or something. I'm not saying that's what we do, but we'll look at all the national days and think, is there something that we could do for that? So Halloween, as I said, is already a week that we are planning lots of fun initiatives for. So in terms of the notifications, what we learned on from very early on is that people don't want to be receiving a notification on their phone and an email, because there's options to do those both. Because of the nature of the post that we're doing, we realised we wanted all of our notifications to go through on the app, and it's only really if there's specific management updates that we would send to go through on an email. Sometimes we do upload, it might be a policy or it might be a process or an internal vacancy. We wouldn't post a notification for that. That would just go up there because everyone knows if they want to look at the internal vacancies, they know where to go. We don't need to let them know that it's there. So yeah, we took that feedback on board and then tried to reduce the amount of notifications that are going out. But what I do like as well is once you've posted something and you want to give another nudge, you are able to do that. So occasionally we might do that. If we've got a competition running and if it's just lasting for a day, we'll post something in the morning and we might give a nudge for it in the afternoon as well. So we try not to go overboard with the notifications because we can know it can be a nuisance if it's too much.
True thing. I do have another question here from Joachim, and hi, how you doing? Haven't talked to you in a while. Good that you're asking a question here in the talk. How did you do, for example, the bingo? So how did that work in the app?
So we put a link to Microsoft Teams through the app. So people would go onto the app, they saw the post about the bingo, and then they'd follow the link through to Microsoft Teams because that's what we use for our sort of internal meetings. It was a mixture of people on the SMT would be running the bingo. Believe it or not, they actually had a bingo ball machine sitting in their cupboard. So they were able to run this and we had it live. We've had pets featured in it. And then obviously we have the chat function on Teams where people have been commenting. It's been really, really funny. And people jumping in and out of the Teams call. So yeah, it was through Teams, through the app, really simple.
Perfect. Another question that I see here is, how do you dive into the results of the happy sad face functionality and how much time does that take?
Sure. So we really put this heavily when we first launched the app, and people were using it a lot. So on a weekly basis, I would pull off a report, download that into an Excel report for the week, and then I would send that to the relevant directors of each brand so that they could see what's going on throughout the business. People aren't using it as much now, and I think that's because people are engaged more in the actual channels and the initiatives. We are still getting the people using that tool, but I will go on there, me and my team, at least one of us will check that if anyone's made an unhappy comment at least once a day, so that if anything does need to be flagged to a manager or there's a particular issue, then we can deal with that appropriately. So it's checked once a day, reported on weekly. As I say, people probably aren't using it as much at the moment, but they are more engaged in the other areas of the app. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, I think it does. And we are at the end of our session time now. I wanted to say thank you one last time to you, Katie. Kudos to you and your team. Everything we saw today, I think we could take a lot of inspiration home with us, lots of ideas to maybe implement into our own apps. We obviously hope that things will go just as planned in the future for you guys and that you see lots of engagement in your app.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining and thank you for your questions.
No problem. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.